Hello, and welcome back to the Misty Morrison podcast. I'm your host, the wonderful Misty Morrison, and this is episode 19 of Was I in the Wrong? We've got a slightly modified setup today just because I have filled my chair with clean bedding that needs to be put up. So in the meantime, we are making do. Before we get started today, I do want to ask you, please, if you enjoy the content, leave a 5-star review. If you're listening on podcast, it helps the podcast grow. If you're watching on YouTube, comment, engage with the video, like it, share it with a friend, and please subscribe for more. It really does help the channel grow. All right, story number 1 is coming to us from r/AIO. Am I overreacting for reporting my manager after she told a client I wasn't wife material? So I, 24 female, work in finance, and last month we had a networking dinner with some potential clients. Everything was going fine until my manager, 45 female, introduced me to one of the senior partner's friends. While laughing, she said something like, "Don't let her pretty face fool you, she's a shark in numbers, but not much of a wife material, right?" Everyone laughed. I froze. I have no idea what she meant, but it felt disgusting. Afterwards, she told me to lighten up, it was just a joke. I reported her to HR the next day because this isn't the first time she's made comments about my relationship status in front of clients. Now she's being investigated, and some of my coworkers have called me too sensitive and said I should have just spoken to her privately. But I'm tired of being a punchline in my own career. Am I overreacting? No, the comments that she made were so unnecessary. Like, you could have got your point across. You could have either not made a comment at all, or you could have got the point across that, like, you're a shark with numbers without the back end of that comment. That was really harsh, really unnecessary, and basically implied that they would only be interested in you for, like, whatever their financial needs are, if they could also sleep with you. And that was a gross implication. You are not being too sensitive. You do not have to put up with abuse in the workplace ever. So I'm really glad that you went directly to HR, and she's being investigated for this questionable behavior. Your coworkers who are calling you too sensitive, just ignore them. Just ignore them. I know a lot of people don't like to deal with HR, and HR departments are not always great, but sometimes they can be helpful. And hopefully this is one of those times. So, OP, you are right. You are not overreacting. Story number 2 is coming to us from r/Am I the Asshole? AITA for showing up to Mother's Day when my sister-in-law warned me she would make a scene if I did. Initial reaction, I'm leaning towards yes, but I feel like it really depends on the specifics. So let's read on. My sister-in-law, Cleo, tried to tell me that nobody wanted me around for Mother's Day. She insisted I drop off my husband, her brother, and if I came with him, she would make it everyone's problem. My husband, Ryan, said that he wanted to be there as well, and he knew my mother-in-law would also want that. Ryan is aware of my conflict with Cleo, as he was dragged into it. He is disabled, and she believes she needs to protect him from me. It stems from her not approving of our open marriage and not trusting Ryan's lived experience. She tried to confront me over it and ended up looking foolish. I'm sure it's partially a bruised ego. Well, Cleo told me that I'd better not show up and ruin everyone's day. I have a good relationship with my mother-in-law, and I made her a little stained glass piece of lilacs, her favorite flower. My plan was to arrive with Ryan, seek out mother-in-law to give her the gift, and make sure that she did want me there. I'd leave if she didn't. It's her day, not Cleo's. We showed up. Mother-in-law was very happy to see us, hugged us both, and brought us inside. I gave her my gift. She loved it and immediately put it up in her kitchen window. Cleo cornered me and asked me why I'd shown up when she clearly told me not to come. I said that mother-in-law deserved a nice time with her children without interlopers. My phrasing, hers was more... Cleo cornered me and asked me why I'd shown up when she clearly told me not to come, and said that mother-in-law deserved a nice time with her children without interlopers. My phrasing, hers was more colorful. She continued to dig at me to the point that mother-in-law asked her why. Cleo said that she'd warned me not to come. Mother-in-law asked Cleo to knock it off. Cleo doubled down and said that I am the problem, not her. Mother-in-law more firmly told her to knock it off. And whatever is going on between us, it's just between us. Cleo became very angry about that, grabbed her purse, and left. The rest of us relaxed, but the vibe shifted. I feel terrible about putting a dark cloud over Mother's Day. Ryan said that it's okay. Cleo was the one with the issue and she's alienating the family by thinking she knows best. He said he would try to talk to her again, but last time he tried, she wouldn't listen. The next day, Cleo sent me several long messages that can be summed up with, "I do not trust you and I will prove to everyone that you are no good and you ruined Mother's Day." Was I really the wrong party in the situation for showing up knowing Cleo would say or do something? I mean, she did warn me, and I showed up anyway. Even if she was the one to leave in the end, Cleo is her daughter, not me. Oh, I think you're right. I really appreciate mother-in-law in this story for not specifically siding with Cleo because she is her biological daughter. You married her son. You are her family now as well. She appreciates you. Clearly she does. And I think Cleo, like you knowing that your mother-in-law wanted you there, and it does sound like from your post that this Mother's Day was hosted at mother-in-law's house, Cleo had no right to tell you not to come. I don't think anyone ever has a right to tell someone not to go to some place that's not theirs or what to do at a place that's not theirs. You were going to your mother-in-law's house. Your mother-in-law was welcoming. She invited you in. She never told you not to come. She never asked you to leave. And Ryan's right. And your mother-in-law's right. Cleo is the one with the problem. She needs to deal with that for herself. She's the one creating the problem and alienating the family. You're just existing as she doesn't like your choices, and she is entitled to her opinion on your lifestyle. She can dislike your choices if she wants to, but she doesn't get to decide how the rest of the family feels about you. So you are right, OP. You are not the asshole, and I'm very glad that you still went ahead and showed up when you knew showing up was the right thing to do. All right, my voice is failing me. My allergies are very mad at me. My nose has been trying to evacuate my face, and now my voice is angry. So I know I sound kind of gravelly today. Sorry about that. But we're making it through. Story number 3 is coming to us from r/AITA_relationships. AITA for rejecting my significant other's proposal. Initial reaction... I mean, you always have the right to say no if you don't want to marry that person, but I need to know more. Okay. I, 27 female, and my partner, 27 male, have been together for 5 years. We met in college, and he is my soulmate. We get along, have similar goals in life, and I can see my future with him. We moved in together a year ago, and around our anniversary last week, he asked to go to dinner at Sweet Tomatoes. For those of you who don't know, Sweet Tomatoes is a buffet chain in the U.S. that shut down all locations after the COVID-19 pandemic. A few years ago, one single Sweet Tomatoes reopened in Tucson, Arizona. My partner grew up going to Sweet Tomatoes and is very nostalgic about the place. I had never been, so I agreed to take a road trip with my partner to go to Sweet Tomatoes. As soon as we got there, I could tell something was off because my partner was acting a little nervous, and I thought that maybe I was misreading his emotions and he was just excited. Everything was going fine, and I thought the food was pretty good, but nothing to write home about. Then, when I thought my partner was getting up to get another plate, he stood up and proposed to me. Everyone in the whole buffet was watching as my partner was proposing to me, and I just stood there, stunned. I pulled him aside and told him that I appreciate his proposal, and that I really do want to marry him. I cannot accept his proposal because of where he was proposing. I couldn't help but feel like the proposal was a little bit selfish, as it was somewhere that only meant something to him. I know that Sweet Tomatoes is really important to him, and I love that he's so passionate about something, but I wanted him to propose somewhere that was meaningful to both of us. He was really sad, and the whole car ride home was tense, and we barely spoke. Now that we're home, things are still pretty awkward, and he seems distant. I feel really bad because I love him, but I just really did not want to get engaged at Sweet Tomatoes. So, AITA? Okay. In this case, I'm gonna say yes, you are I think you're wrong. I'm going to say yes, you are the asshole in this situation. And it's not that you can't say no. I mean, me personally, I knew when my husband, then boyfriend, proposed to me, I knew if I didn't say yes the first time, he was never asking again. And I really couldn't blame a guy if they didn't ask again, because can you just imagine, like, they work up the courage to ask you, like, this big life-changing question, and you crushed his heart. And I really couldn't blame him if, for feeling distant, for being awkward, because you said with your words that you want to marry him, but you also didn't accept his proposal. And so that really makes the relationship kind of seem conditional on, like, maybe things going more your way. You say that you felt like the proposal was a little bit selfish, but maybe are you being a little bit selfish? Because I feel like everyone expects, like, the proposal that the guy plans to meet all of the girls' expectations. But why doesn't he deserve a proposal that means something to him too? Yes, he's the one doing it, but it's a memory for both of you. I mean, sure, Sweet Tomatoes, it's a buffet. It's not the most romantic place in the world. But knowing it meant so much to him, maybe he proposed to you there because he wanted Sweet Tomatoes to mean something to you too. And not only did you refuse to let Sweet Tomatoes mean something to you in that way, but you also probably just ruined all his memories, just crushed them, of Sweet Tomatoes, because now, regardless of all the childhood nostalgia, he's going to remember that one day you guys went for this awesome road trip, he got to go back to Sweet Tomatoes, and you broke his heart. So yeah, I think you're wrong, because the proposal, it's not just for you, it's for the both of you. And I think he was trying to create a memory and make this place that meant so much to him meaningful to you. I think if you loved him enough to marry him, spend your life with him in sickness and in health, for rich or for poor, regardless of the circumstance, then the circumstance of where he proposed to you wouldn't matter so much. That's just my opinion. It might be an unpopular opinion, but that's my opinion. And I normally don't read the comments, but I was interested to see what the first reply was, just because I was curious if I was alone here. And so the first comment, this post is from one day ago when I'm recording this. So the first comment, also from one day ago, has 151 upvotes and says, "Be prepared for him not to propose again. That's a very difficult thing to come back from, especially with you saying he was being selfish. Consider it from his perspective. Your reaction wasn't to be excited that he proposed and be present with him in the moment. Your reaction was to judge him and decline his proposal because it wasn't good enough." And then somebody commented to that and said, "Agreed. There may be no coming back from this. You're the asshole." Oh, I'll read a couple more. The next one says, "Also agree. You're the asshole, OP. You say you love this man. He's your soulmate. And you do want to marry him, just not unless the place is good enough for you. Of course he's hurt, and of course he's being awkward. There's a very good chance that to him, you may have shown your true colors. That a simple, sweet proposal at a place that has happy childhood memories wasn't up to your standard. Here's the thing, the wedding vows are for better or worse, for richer or poor, in sickness and in health. And of course, that doesn't mean that if he's a bad guy to you, that you should just have to take it. But what this shows him is that if the situation isn't ideal, you're going to say no to his proposal. What about any other potential tough times ahead in marriage? I understand how hurt he must be. The problem is that by putting up this post, you don't understand how hurt he is." The next one, "I agree too. You're the asshole. If I were this guy, I would probably be considering whether I really wanted to marry someone who'll be able to look at me doing my best at something and decide it wasn't good enough. The main significance of a proposal is in what comes next, not in the details of the proposal itself. I'm a woman and I've been happily married for more than 30 years. The next one, and that's the last one I'll read, says, "And it wasn't a careless proposal. Like, if he had just rolled over in bed one day and gave you a blow pop, I'd understand the disappointment. But he planned a road trip to a place that he felt was special, a place that he had many great memories at and was probably excited to add this one to the list." Okay, I feel validated because all those first ones echoed a lot of the same sentiment that I had. You were being selfish, thinking the proposal should only be significant to you. You did say it wasn't good enough, and so how is he supposed to take that, looking forward to a potential marriage with you? Like, oh, if he, loses his job and goes to work at a fast food chain, are you going to decide he's not good enough for you? If he gets in an accident and gets disabled, are you going to decide he's not good enough for you? Yeah, you gave him a lot to think about when you said no based solely on where he proposed, and you couldn't appreciate the significance that it had for him and the thought that he really put into it. So, OP, you are wrong. And I feel sorry for your significant other, who may or may not continue to be your significant other, but I feel sorry for him that he did work to create something low-key but so meaningful, and you just stepped on it. All right. Story number 4 is coming to us from r/AITAH. AITA for kicking my husband out over the comment he made about my kids at dinner. Initial reaction, I still can't give a reaction because I don't know what he said yet. I, 36 female, have 2 kids, Mia, 14, and Liam, 16 male, from a previous marriage. They have done ice dancing together ever since they were little. Yes, before anyone asks, it's normal in the sport. They're a strong match, similar in size, and work very well as a team. The routines are expressive and dynamic, but age appropriate, nothing suggestive. My husband, Mark, 38 male, and I have been together for almost 7 years. He's been in their lives since they were young, and they've always called him their stepdad. He used to be supportive, showing up to competitions, helping with rides, the usual. But over the last couple of years, his attitude started to shift for some reason. He started making weird comments about how close they are when they perform. Stuff like how they're always wrapped around each other, or it's a little strange how intimate the choreography can look, sometimes within earshot of the kids. I shut that down hard every time. We've had full-blown arguments about it, and after the last time, he swore he'd stop bringing it up. Fast forward to a few nights ago, we had a couple of friends over for dinner. The kids were home and eating with us. One of our friends asked how skating was going, and the kids were talking about even though it's off season, they're still training hard, keeping up with their practice. And then again, Mark went there by saying, yeah, they train hard, but it's still weird how into it they are. Like they're siblings and they're all over each other. It's a bit much. Mia looked like she wanted to disappear. Liam just went quiet and stared him down, clearly pissed. The whole table just went awkwardly silent, aside from an uncomfortable laugh from our friends, until someone changed the subject. I just felt done, but I didn't make a scene right there and then. As soon as everyone left and we were alone, I confronted him. Told him I couldn't believe he would say something like that, especially in front of our friends and kids, after he promised he'd stop doing it. He tried to act like it was just one little comment, his opinion, and said I was being too sensitive again. I told him no, this isn't just a small thing, and I don't want him around me or the kids if he's going to act like this, and not even apologize for it. I told him to pack some bags and go. He's staying in his mom's house, and she called me, going off about me being dramatic, how Mark was just trying to express his concern, and that maybe deep down, I know it looks weird. I hung up on her. Meanwhile, my ex-husband heard about it from Mia and Liam and contacted me right away. He told me I did the right thing and he has my back 100%. No hesitation. Mark has been texting and calling me, saying I blew things out of proportion and that I'm hurting the family over a throwaway comment. Now that I've had time to cool down, I'm wondering if I took things too far and could have done things differently. So, AITA for kicking him out? I don't think so. No, it's not even a mess. You're right. The comments that he's making are so inappropriate. Like having watched like dancing shows and stuff, that's even common in like the ballroom dancing world for brothers and sisters to go into dance together. Like I understand that like in ice dancing or partners figure skating or dancing, that things, can look a certain way from the outside. But as long as they don't feel that way, as long as like they are still looking at each other only as brother and sister, there's nothing wrong with it. Like they know where that line is. You as their mom who's been there for 100% of their lives know that nothing weird is going on. Like, they're not confused about their relationship because they dance together. I think it's gross what he's doing and the way he keeps making these comments. Like, he's trying to make them feel bad about something, or like he is perceiving it in a way that it's not meant to be perceived. And so, like, these are his stepkids. They've been his stepkids for like 7 years. So why is that where your mind's going? That's what's worrying to me. But I don't think you're wrong, because you have told him time and time again that the comments are not acceptable to you. You don't want the kids to hear it. You don't want to hear it. And the fact that he said he would stop doing it, and then in front of your friends and in front of your kids, who are at a very 14, 16, very emotional, impressionable age, and to just say that in front of them and hurt them like that, after all the conversations asking him not to, and he still thinks he did nothing wrong. Based off that, you will always be the one who's wrong in this relationship. And I'm really impressed that your ex-husband was just immediately like, you're right, I've got your back. Very impressed with him and that co-parenting relationship that seems to be going on there. The only thing I think you maybe could have done differently was like to specify if this was a cool down period, if this was temporary, exactly what him packing some bags and going somewhere looked like, rather than basically just being like, get out. But also, you had every right to be pissed off in that moment over what he said. And props to you for not making a scene in front of the friends, for waiting until afterwards. And I think because of that, you did have some time to think about it and compose yourself. And you decided. You felt like you were done. And I think that's fair. And based on the comments that he keeps making and the way your kids are going to take it, I think you being done is best for your kids as well. So you are right. You are not the asshole for kicking him out. He did it to himself. He had it coming. First up is a gold box comment. Let's see. This post is from 5 hours ago when I'm recording, and it already has over 5,000 upvotes. The top comment in the gold box has almost 5,000 upvotes, and it says, not the asshole, especially if your ex has your back about this. You were completely in the right. Sorry, but your husband sounds like a douche canoe. Yeah. A reply to that one, still in the gold box, says, I used to figure skate competitively when I was younger. Sibling partners in pairs and ice dance is very common. Besides already having a foundation of trust with your partner that would take years to build with a stranger, they are normally close in size, athleticism, and ability. Not to mention the fact that it resolves scheduling conflicts. Figure skating with another person as a team requires physical closeness. They cannot do the holds, lifts, or throws properly or safely if they are not close. It isn't sexual, it's for safety as well as good technique, which is part of their technical score. Edit to add, not the asshole. But that is just my opinion. So, not the asshole. You are right. You are protecting your kids. So, that is all we have for today. 4 stories. That is us done for episode 19 of Was I in the Wrong on the Misty Morrison podcast. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next time for another episode. Bye.